JobKeeper was always
Hi,
going
Laura.
to end. It was always going to be temporary. If you don't agree that it should end now, well, when?
Well, the challenge at the moment is we've got businesses that should be completely viable, and the only reason they're not is because of public health orders, and public health orders that are there for a good reason. As long as you have businesses that would otherwise be viable, but therefore you want them to exist on the other side of the pandemic, I'm not sure why you'd spend nearly a year, effectively taking them across the desert and then getting this close to the finish line and pushing them over the cliff. That's what it is for the whole lot of the arts and entertainment industry. These are commercial businesses that have the capacity to succeed, and the only reason they can't at the moment and that they need support is because of government orders. Now, if that's the circumstance, then that was the reason government support was offered in the first place, and it's difficult to see why in the current environment those same arguments don't apply for the arts and entertainment sector similar to hospitality.
On that logic, Mr Burke, are you saying that JobKeeper should extend until international borders are reopened?
Well, certainly for the arts and entertainment sector, the argument for it to continue to be there now and to be there next month and the month after is identical to the reasons that were there when it was first established. Now, there's many sections of the arts and entertainment industry that are not reliant on the international borders. So
domestic borders are open now.
Oh yeah, but the social distancing rules still make it very difficult for many venues to be able to operate.
Right.
Very difficult for them to be able to operate in the normal way. And that hits festivals, it hits a whole lot of entertainment venues. And think about this, say, an industry like the live music industry. If we have a number of venues fall over, they don't automatically reappear on the other side of the pandemic. We lose infrastructure that will then take 5 or 6 years to get back. That's a permanent hit simply because the government wasn't willing to hold the line for the final few months.
Well, what's wrong with the direct targeted support that we've seen? Why does it have to be JobKeeper?
Okay, I'll say two things about what's announced today. First of all, the concept of doing more than they were going to do, of course, that's better than where it would have been yesterday. But they made an announcement around the middle of last year and the announcement was $250 million for the sector. We found out in Senate estimates the other day, of that $250 million announced last year, $65 million has been spent. So roughly 25% has been announced during the toughest time the industry's ever faced. So another announcement, well, it only works at all if the money's delivered. And for the exact sorts of programs they're talking about today, when they announced them last year, $250 million announced, $65 million by now has gone out the door.
Is that because people aren't applying, they're not aware of the program, or are you saying it should just flow into their pockets even if they don't apply?
Oh, no, it's not for lack of applications. The government's just been incredibly slow getting money out the door. Incredibly slow getting money out the door. And a grants program will never be as effective as a wage subsidy program. That's the reality, that there'll be a whole lot of, even if you say, smaller businesses can now apply, the reality is grants programs are always going to favour the bigger operations. It'll always be harder for the smaller end of the industry.